going to go to bed with Pamela Anderson, and my mind is going to be blown with him. I mean, we're working on a bit now. I don't want to say what it is. It's going to be really mind-blowing and funny. 60s, 70s was just like a renaissance because all this shit was being invented. Rock and roll was being really, it was mind-blowing what was going on. And then, now I'm thinking about it, was Shallow. Somebody ran Shallow through auto-tune.
Oh, it was Mark.
And
Yeah.
And they said they couldn't, on that song, they could not find a bad note. That's kind of mind-blowing. Thinking while you were doing that, you could sing. I remember when you did that performance with Metallica, and people said, "Oh, Gaga can sing anything." It was mind-blowing. What's it like to tour with guys who you grew up loving, and then all of a sudden you get that acceptance? It must have been mind-blowing. Do you ever sit there and go, "Shit, how can I come up with one new song?"
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's got to be mind-blowing, right? And suddenly you end up singing background on songs like this, The Wall of Sound. That's you back there. How mind-blowing is that? You're talking about Glenn Campbell. You're talking
The Wrecking Crew.
The Wrecking Crew, the greatest musicians ever. And they were great because within 3 seconds, they could pick up a song, right?
Right, yeah.
Didn't that blow you away?
Opened the door to your imagination and said you can write about anything.
Blew your mind. It blew your mind. It is very difficult. Even when I was thinking about what I wanted to talk to you about, there is so much that it is mind-blowing. When you were, I don't know, I want to say you were about 11 years old when you went to see this guy in concert.
Yeah.
That blew your mind. It's always like, oh, that movie made $150 million at the box office and blah, 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 blah. But it really, it was a modest success. And it's quite mind-blowing. If you go back and Google any of these appearances, it's mind-blowing.
He loved the song. It's in one of the documentaries on him. And you see him rehearsing it. And
did that blow your mind? Going through Bruce's catalog of music, it is fucking mind-blowing. You do not remember.
Welcome, ladies and gents, to QF, a podcast about Howard Stern. I'm Phil Moore, your host, a.k.a. Jim Fix, and with me, back from traffic hell from July 4th, Lady K. How are you, my dear? Are you feeling any better now that you're home?
Yes, I was just trying to get here. I was so stressed out, just trying to get here. My goodness.
She made it in the end, and this one, guys, is called "No T-Shirts for You." It's a soup Nazi theme on the Photoshop, hence where the title. This is a suggestion from Kayla specifically, not this clip in general, but not this clip specifically, but when she wanted to do like Richard and Sal, something related to them, and I suggested, why not the money grubbing, the sort of poo-pooing, putting the kibosh on any kind of attempts to get out from under from Howard with regard to Richard and Sal when they want to do these side projects. One of the things is about their putting out a CD of phony phone calls that were not like good enough for the show, but they wanted to make some swag. And this is a better clip. It's about them wanting to make T-shirts, and he is insufferably bad. Think of these guys needing to make side hustles to make ends meet, and him going on about, this is, cheating, stealing money from your fans, and you shouldn't sell them. You're already selling them a comedy ticket, and then you're going to sell them T-shirts, and who the fuck wants that, and all this stuff. Did we not see him? Was he not charging people for a membership to listen to him for Sirius? Was he not charging for extra money for DirecTV, like for Howard TV?
Right, of course he was. What's the difference?
What is the difference?
How many concerts have you been to where they don't have a little T-shirt table or booth where you can get a T-shirt? People kind of want it. I don't feel taken advantage of because I'm buying a t-shirt for a band or
Uh,
performer that I love.
yeah.
I want it.
Do you remember any comedy show that you went to where they also had T-shirts for, Doug Stanhope or, would back in the day Louis C.K. or Seinfeld? Would they?
No.
Can you think of any offhand?
So funny enough, I saw Seinfeld, but I don't remember a merch table for
Uh-huh.
Seinfeld. He might have, I just don't remember. I went last year to see this comedian, Kristen Key. She's really funny.
Okay.
Um, but she had a merch table and she has these t-shirts and they say lesbian army on there because she's a lesbian, but it's
Yeah.
funny. Like she is really hilarious. She's super
Okay.
funny. And she
Okay.
did have t-shirts. I don't think she had anything else. She might have had, yeah, she had like some old CDs and was kind of making fun of, look, I just had these old things, so I brought them and whatever.
hmm
But yeah, she did have t-shirts there. I haven't been to a big comedy show in a while though, like a big
Well,
one.
I guess the difference is that, like, it's traditional at a rock show or whatever music show. There's a concert shirt. There could be. I'm trying to think what else there could be. Posters, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
They got to bring this. I mean, this stuff didn't exist before people wanted it.
Right.
They made it available. People got into it, and it became a tradition. There, remember Florentine talking on an interview show where he said he had like 170 concert shirts or like 400 concert shirts, and he had to whittle them down. And he has like
Yeah.
50 or whatever. And I know Wayne talks about his getting concert shirts, and his sister made a quilt out of his old tour shirts,
Oh, that's
uh,
fun.
which is a cool idea.
Look,
And
I have a Sierra Farrell
Farrell,
concert t-shirt.
yeah,
Yeah, so everybody has them.
yes.
Everybody. It's
So
normal. It's common.
now, whether you like wearing them or you think it's tacky to wear them or whatever, or like, why is it tacky to sell them? I don't understand that.
It isn't, and I think that's the key. It's not tacky. That's just him bitching because he didn't want anybody to have any kind of success. And side note, how much money could they really have made on the t-shirts in the first place?
Well, let's say, for example, they play to 100 people, okay? And they're not going to be coming around for a long time, and people just with a show like Richard and Sal, if they brought 100 shirts, if they brought like 50 shirts at a gig with 100 people, they might sell 30 or 40, to be honest with you. Because if they stay around
Yeah,
and they
true.
sign them, whatever, it's more personal. And think about it, that's an extra 500 bucks if you're charging 10 bucks 10 bucks a
Yeah,
shirt, or 15
true.
bucks, you're making a lot more money. It's an extra few $100s in each of your pocket after you recoup costs of printing.
And in the grand scheme of things, you know, that's nothing to Howard.
No.
Nothing. But to somebody like Richard, that is a lot of money, especially
Yes.
back then. It was a
Yeah.
noticeable difference to have it. And also, they were probably just having fun with it. So he didn't like any of that. It had nothing to do with the fans
No.
whatsoever. It was
No.
more about them having fun and making money
hmm
that he wasn't, that was outside of him. And that's what he couldn't have.
I can't remember who it was. It might have been Benjamin, but he, that they or maybe somebody wrote it in the comments. Might have been Al W. That Howard wants to inflict financial anorexia on his staff. I love that term.
Hmm.
So we're gonna play it. It's a 25-minute clip, guys, and some of it's about Sal's wife. I've edited it from the 50-minute video that it used to
But he
be.
just
Yeah,
said
you
haul
said
and
you didn't want to
hay.
get into the whole
I
thing.
didn't want to get into a whole long thing with him. I was listening to the wrap-up show. It almost drove me to call in yesterday because
Oh, and by the way, guys, this is actually from April 1st, 2009, if you are looking back in your archives.
the guys had all decided that it was okay that Richard and Sal were selling pictures. And I
They
heard,
decided.
yeah, all the guys on the wrap-up show were listening to the evidence, and they were like, yeah, Sal and Richard had a perfect explanation. They go, listen, we go to these clubs. There's a professional photographer there. We take pictures with everyone. If someone wants the professional picture, we'll do it with their regular cameras. But if somebody wants the professional picture, the guy makes them available on our website, and they can buy them.
And they can buy them autographed.
And I'm sitting and listening to this, and I'm like, and then each guy, Will, goes, hey, that's not so bad. And John Hine or whatever.
They're breaking down.
They go, yeah, that sounds reasonable. I'm sitting there going, that doesn't sound reasonable to me. What is the audience there just to sucker into every fucking
Right,
money-making
right.
opportunity? It's not the way I view this audience. I think that
there's no one who hates his audience more.
Says the guy who's going to piss on his audience.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. Well, there's that, but you know what? During the Private Parts era, do you know how much fucking swag they put out for that goddamn movie?
I don't know, but I imagine it's a lot.
A Private Parts boombox, like a double cassette deck.
What?
I'm not joking. They were available on, you could see that. I saw someone post a picture of it on Reddit. They were selling them as a mock, like here's, a radio so you can listen to with a Private Parts logo on it. There were, flashcards, not flashcards, what do you call them? What are those things? Movie promo cards. What do they call? Lobby cards. They T-shirts, probably air. I know they had air fresheners. They made Howard Stern. They had all kinds of stuff for Private Parts. No one wanted to fuck his fans out of more money than Howard.
Right. What's the difference?
The soundtrack,
These guys...
4 different covers, and if you managed to, match out, if you looked through, if you found it, there was a gold CD being released. There was never a fucking gold CD. He promoted that like it happened just to try to drum up sales.
Wait a minute. So
he claimed like the Wonka, like the golden ticket,
or
he said that there was a gold CD out there. Like keep buying it and someone will find it. A solid gold CD.
And nobody ever found it, so he's just a liar.
Yes. And he should have been done in for that because that's there's got to be some kind of fraud. I mean, imagine you tell someone, any promotion, let's say Kit Kat, they've decided, look, anybody who finds the golden ticket gets a trip to the factory and free Kit Kat for a year, that kind of thing, and no one ever finds it.
Because it didn't exist, that would be some kind of something. I don't know what the word
fraud.
is.
That would be fraud on some level.
False advertising.
Something like that. So he's the worst offender at this. And the fact that people had to buy the gear, then pay a subscription for Sirius, then get another one for Howard TV.
He's so full of shit. This is nothing to do with the audience. Like all of a sudden he cares about the audience being taken for a ride.
Right.
Oh, please. No, this is about Richard and Sal doing anything outside of him. That's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
But we do what a lot of people don't do. We stay after the show. We say hi to every fan.
That's
sign
good.
Every autograph.
Good.
Take pictures with their cameras.
Yeah, but you know what it is? It's the same reason I get down on Bill O'Reilly or these guys who... there's nothing wrong, essentially, with him having a website where he sells the Bill O'Reilly sponge, or Rush Limbaugh sells the Rush Limbaugh radio taping device, or the ski jacket or the towel with a monogram on it. You think about the greats in show business, and I know you're saying, hey, you're struggling right now, but the greats in show business never viewed their career like that. They were entertainers. They'd go out and make their money entertaining, and they didn't look at the audience like just an endless cash machine where they...
That's not true. He loves the Beatles. Do you know that when they were still together, the amount of fucking swag that was put out by people for fans? My aunt was in New Zealand at the time. She lived in New Zealand. She told me she had Beatles stockings, like with the faces of all the Beatles going down her leg, on either leg. I mean, that's as esoteric a bit of swag as you can imagine, promo stuff. Because, buttons, T-shirts, games, mugs, all these things, cups especially, whatever, fans, like the thing, like hand fans, stuff like that. You can imagine all that stuff existing. Leggings? I mean, sort of stockings?
Of course. Look, New Kids on the Block had Barbie dolls
of
themselves. Yep, they sure did. I had one.
You're kidding. If you don't mind, who released them? Mattel?
Were they Mattel? They might have been Mattel. I don't remember, but they were Barbie dolls, and there was one of every one of the New Kids.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
I had Johnny because he was my favorite.
Did you? You had to go for the street one, right?
Oh, he's so tough.
No one went for Jordan outside of somebody like the Simeon Appreciation Foundation. That guy always looked like a monkey.
That's Johnny.
No,
I mean,
I'm
not
talking
Danny. Danny. That's
Danny.
Danny.
Sorry,
That's what I
not
meant,
Jordan.
yeah.
Jordan was the youngest, wasn't he?
No, that was Joey. I know way too much, and
You
I
do,
am
yeah.
not going to apologize. Joey was the little one.
Did you buy the
Jordan was the
remix
pretty
album?
boy. Oh, you know I did. I bought every one of those damn things. I had a concert T-shirt of the New
Step
Kids on the
by
Block.
step.
Oh, baby, gonna get
Oh my God.
together. All right.
Well, I mean, so the point is all those bands, everybody, the Stones. Do you know how much
Mm-hmm.
like their
Yes,
logo, the Lips logo is in fact product.
of
It's something
course.
to sell.
Kiss.
Kiss. Well, Kiss is
They're
and
the
a Kiss is a
worst.
joke. They're the worst.
They are, but still.
Yeah.
They're like the worst example. But still, everyone. Look, Ray LaMontagne, who is a dude who stands there with a guitar,
Hmm.
singing very sweetly, had a T-shirt at his concert. It's just what you do. It's normal.
It
It's
is.
common. It really
Right.
is.
So he's getting these big ethics, like all of a sudden, I wouldn't do that to my fans. That's the biggest false narrative. So as soon as and at some point, I'll transpose this, not transpose this. I will come up with the clips of him selling the fucking swag on the air, and we could do a reverse episode, like where he's all for it, and this is a perfect bookend. Prick.
Go and I know you could say to me, well, Howard, you're doing really well. You don't have to do this kind of stuff. I was making 10 cents an hour, but I never looked.
Where did you make 10 cents an hour?
10 cents an hour. Was that ever
What,
like
in
a salary?
1929?
Right, exactly. Out of the fucking coal mine factory. Yeah. What is he talking about?
Oh,
10
for
cents an
fuck's sake.
hour.
He's
Shut
the
up.
big, he's the, I'm waiting for you to go, bitch, please. Yeah.
Like, gee, you know what? Maybe I could charge him for a picture. Maybe I could charge him for this or charge him for that. There's a certain pride, a show business pride that you go, you can't look at your audience like, maybe I could sell them a sponge with my name on it because some people want it. Yes, some people want it, but maybe you don't want it. Maybe you want integrity. Does that make sense to anybody?
Oh my
It-
God.
it
It
makes sense
does,
to
but
you?
what if
Yeah.
you don't have the ability to entertain?
Or no integrity, or no integrity.
then you get out of the
no
business.
integrity and no ability
Let
to
me-
entertain.
let me-
No,
give you an
they have
idea.
the ability to entertain, but you're not doing that thing. No, you guys, and you do have an act, and Howard's right, and you can entertain people, but you're not doing that move where you're charging more for an autograph thing.
Oh,
Right?
yeah, I'll tell you the whole thing.
Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. That's industry standard now. If you want a photo, it costs this much. If you want it with a signature, it costs this much more. If you want it personalized, it might cost this much more. Some guys are not really. Some guys they're fine signing whatever you want, especially authors. If you want an inscription, just type it in and they'll put it in. It's no skin off their back. But there are tiers. Yeah, there are tiers. VIP packages at the behind backstage for festivals.
Right.
G-Chup was telling me all about how he got fucked with the one that was Motley Crue and Poison over the last year or the year before, and how they didn't they reneged on their what he paid for. And he said they got fucked by Motley Crue, and Motley Crue never. I don't think they refunded anything. G-Chup, if you correct it for us if I'm wrong, but there was a whole bunch of stuff they were supposed to have given and they never did. They also didn't sign. It was something. It was incomplete anyway. But what the fuck is Howard talking about?
He's lying right now. He's just making stuff up. And isn't Gary wearing a serious
Swag.
jacket right now?
Yeah. Yes, he is, and he was wearing that for years.
So what's the difference?
Well, that's free. Gary didn't have to pay for that. Oh, yeah,
okay. It was a
Yeah.
gift from Sirius to Gary,
right.
so it's different. Okay.
Right. Exactly.
And that's my
That's
point.
lame. You can't do
So
that.
this audience who are fans of Richard and Sal, they're fans of the show, they come out, they see the guys, they pay for a ticket, they've already purchased something, and then let them go away and say, yeah, that was great, that was a lot of fun. No, it's like, well, how else can I figure out how to make money off you? It's like a used car salesman. Maybe I'll charge you for rust proofing underneath the car.
Well, that costs extra. That's
Right.
an extra. That's an add-on, basically. Do you want Sirius in the car? It doesn't come with it. Okay, we'll put that in. Do you want tinted windows? That's an option. Buying a T-shirt would be an option. No one's forcing anybody to buy anything.
That's exactly what I was about to say. It's an option. It's not like you have to get it. So if I'm buying it, that means I fucking want it.
Yes.
So I want it.
Yeah.
You're giving me something I want. In exchange, I'm going to give you some money for it. Like it's not so like
It's not. It's not.
criminal.
It's not like the Jackson's tour, Jackson 5 tour in 1984. People were forced to buy blocks of 4 tickets, and it cost them like 120
Mm,
bucks.
yeah.
It was like it was 100. Yeah, I think it was 120 bucks. And in the inner city, like how many people are going to pool together to get those tickets? And you need 4 people to share the cost and then get them. But they were forcing people to buy more tickets than they wanted. People ended up trying to scalp them because they couldn't get that third or second person, and so it was a way to fuck the fans essentially. Like that was Don King's big
Yeah.
idea. Let's try to guarantee sellouts, but a lot of places didn't sell out because they couldn't afford the 4 pack.
Hmm. That's
So
different.
yeah. So I'm just flustered. I mean, it really is greedy Mr. Marble Hoarder, just wanting control of them, making sure they can't get ahead. And he's done
Hmm.
this for years over, Friends of the Howard Stern Show, Jackie. He's going to make reference to those things too.
Or,
Well,
even
well, hold on. You got to get Sal in here because when you started getting down on it a little bit yesterday, when Steve brought it up in the news, Sal barges into my office and he had a perfectly good explanation. He's like, "Listen, you go to Disney and you're on the ride." And you take a picture, and you can
Yeah, and
decide
you
whether
wanna know
want.
what?
You can decide whether you want it or
Disney
not.
sucks the life out of you. You go there and you feel like you got raped.
I
It's
always
like,
do.
Yeah, it's like, gee, is there any other thing you can milk me for?
It was $40 to get in, or $50 to get in. They charged me, $6 for a bottle of water, and now another $20 for the picture.
I don't.
Yeah, but there's going into fucking Disney. You know that you're going to get raked over the coals financially. You know that every bit of cost, you may not be able to take food into the park. You know that, they're going to charge you over the top for, like a
Yeah.
concession stand at a movie theater. Does it really cost $5 for a Coke? No, but that's how much they're charging. And you have to decide, no, I don't want it.
Right. And you know what, Gary? You don't have to get the picture.
No.
He's sitting there saying, "Oh, and then $20 for a picture." Well, you don't have to get the picture.
Right.
They're not making you.
It's a fallacious argument. I mean, like, what the fuck? I just, and the other thing is, you may have buyer's remorse after you get something and go, well, why did I buy
Hmm.
it? But again, you made the choice. It's not their fault that you bought that T-shirt. They just provided it to you.
Right. That's your problem. You know what? As a matter of fact, speaking of Disney and buyer's remorse, you
Yeah.
know that Daryl Dixon thing signed. Remember you were making fun of me because I had a signed Norman Reedus,
Oh,
Daryl Dixon,
I gotcha.
the frame.
Okay.
I got that at Disney. Yeah, I had buyer's remorse after that, but you know what? I bought it. Nobody
Yes.
made me buy that. I got it
Can,
because I was in the mood and it was
okay.
fun and
At
we
the
were
moment,
spending
it made
money.
sense at the moment, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But that's my problem. Nobody
Yeah.
forced me to get that as part of going to Disney into this little store at MGM or whatever the theme park's called nowadays. Like nobody made me do that. That's what I
Uh,
did.
Yeah, and I've had like God going on a flight and the duty free, looking at the duty free and going, yeah, this whiskey looks like a great deal, and you realize, no one really wants it. You can't give it away. You don't like it yourself. It tastes shittier than it was advertised. You're like, wow, this is a real good buy, and all of a sudden, well, I made a mistake. You're allowed to make
Hmm.
mistakes, and you're allowed to
Yeah,
have the option. These are all options.
they
So
are. And you know what? The concert t-shirts. I even bought the damn lesbian army t-shirt because I thought it was funny. And I'm
can you wear it
happy with
anywhere?
it. No. No, I
Like if
can't.
right, if
That's my choice.
well, look, if G.G. Allen was selling tour shirts with real feces smeared on it, you couldn't, you probably wouldn't buy it, but you definitely wouldn't wear it in public unless you were some kind of fucking, I don't know, like I don't know, some imbecile. But like people want things to remember. Sometimes you don't, because you don't,
Yes.
especially at gigs, you're not allowed to take a camera. Most gigs that are the big names and stuff, no cameras allowed. There are some ways around that. Your phones are fine. Sometimes there's not even phones. So that swag is the memory. But for me, more now that I got older, the ticket stub is the memory.
Yeah, exactly. But
Yeah.
Again, people want these things. That's
Hmm.
why they buy them. That's why it's a thing in the first place.
Do you have any other items of like that were a consequence of buyer's remorse at gigs?
Oh God. Um,
Didn't realize
yes, I
didn't realize there's a
know.
litany of
I
things.
am one of the, look, I get all excited and
Okay,
I want all the stuff.
you get
I
sucked
want
in.
all the things. Yeah, I love it though. Like it's fun. Disney's the worst, the absolute fucking worst. I had so much Disney shit. Um, just from buying at every little gift shop you go into. I can't help it. I like it. It was fun.
Okay,
Anytime I go to any concert or any kind of show or anything, I buy something if it's available. I just like to. It's fun. I'm trying to think if there's anything specific.
that you hate that you thought afterwards, like you felt like throwing it out. You were this disgusted with like, what did I do?
Yeah. There was something I threw away. Like, why did I buy this? This is so stupid. I'm never going to use this. Never going to use this. I wish I could remember what it was because I remember doing it. I'll think about it.
Well, I mean, there's any number of places and things. So, guys, you're in the comments section. Please give us your list of buyer's remorse, concert stuff, swag, paraphernalia, fan club stuff that you paid for. I'd love to read about it because, I mean, do you still go around with your Kelly Clarkson tour shirt on, that kind of stuff?
If I was Disney, I'd be really grateful that someone showed up, and I might charge them whatever it costs me for water. I wouldn't make a profit off the water.
Knowing that you're in Florida and people are going to need water.
Yeah, it's like, why don't you sell the air that's fucking that's on Disneyland?
Believe it or not, if he could sell the air in the studio, he would.
Of course he would. Isn't this the same man that just, what, 2, 3 episodes ago, you and I think it was Jay was talking about him bitching because people were drinking his water.
Yes.
So
Like
shut up, Howard.
he wanted to, because he's going to say, "Oh, that cost money." Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. I have a feeling that the sponsor provided a certain amount of water, and it just got stockpiled there, and people were taking it. That's the consequence.
There's also a budget built
Yes,
in for companies for these types of things.
yes.
Again, he just does not want anyone around him to have any fun
Nope,
unless it's revolving around him.
that's right.
He doesn't want any autonomy whatsoever. It doesn't matter what the thing is.
It's
He'll
very
find a
much
problem.
it's very much North Korea in the Stern compound. Yeah, and he's dear leader.
But
How else can you figure out? Sure, you could figure out how to charge yours. And let's say, how many pictures did you really sell?
We'd have to ask our website guy.
Maybe
But
you sold 10. Is it worth the 10 pictures?
well, yeah, it was a thing they wanted to try out on the website. But if you don't like it, I mean, we definitely will stop doing it. We don't want to upset you.
Like, I love Tradio T-shirts and,
No, they have that?
Hey, Howard.
yeah.
the point that
Sal, yeah.
that guy.
I heard you were almost in tears yesterday on the wrap-up show. Because you're whining about how everyone's down on you, and you can only take so much. Who's down on
Down
you?
on you. Is that why he hasn't
Grow
been
up.
around?
I don't know who he's talking
His wife's
about.
down on him.
All
I
right, his
think.
wife. Get a divorce already, dude. Stop.
This is a healthy environment.
God, I know. Just get a divorce already.
Oh, it
Ugh.
was just I noticed you had a bottle of water. I'm thinking, were you thinking was it Poland Springs?
It is pure life.
There you go.
Spend
I
time
paid
taking.
for it.
Oh, is that Nestle water?
Oh, is it? I guess it is. Is that bad?
We mocked it.
talk about me?
Jay and
You
I
did,
mocked it
didn't
for
you?
some reason. Yes, and I don't like Nestle making water is kind of like I don't know, Massengill making cider. I don't know. I don't know what's an analogy. No, no, I don't know. And, like to me, no. I was talking about in Canada, maybe in the States too. There's this thing called Aquafina.
Oh,
Which
yeah, we
is-
have that.
Okay, which I believe there's Dasani is the one that's Coca-Cola owned, but Aquafina I think is of that ilk. I think it's the Dasani is the purified water. It's just tap water essentially being bottled.
Right.
Yes.
So my water of choice is called Zephyr Hills. That's the one I get. It's from Florida and it's from Springs. It's not fancy. That's just the name of it. I
Right.
got this because I ordered Instacart, and if they don't have your choice, then
Yeah.
they just pick something for you.
Oh, I
So
see. Okay.
you and Jay
Can
know
fuck
that.
off.
I'm not drinking chocolate water over here.
When I first heard of Nestle water, I thought that must be either really good or truly revolting. But Nestle, although I do miss, I have to say, Nestle Crunch bars.
Ooh, those are good.
Yes, they are.
Those are good.
I know you could make your own with get a bit of chocolate, melt it,
Ah,
freeze it with Rice Krispies, whatever. I get it, but no one wants to do that.
no.
Anyways, Sal's going to talk a little bit about his wife, but we clipped away most of that because it really is just pathetic.
Pictures and
All right, have a good day, everybody. It's nice being here.
Get a
Now
divorce.
I feel like $1 million. Thanks, Howard.
Well,
There's
that's your
nobody that
problem.
can lift your spirits like you. I tell you that much.
Sorry, Sal, I disagree
I know,
with your
I know,
approach
and
to show business. I
Oh,
do. You know,
well, you know what?
You're in show. First of all, accept that you're in show business. You work on this show. It's a very popular show.
And I'm there's
Secondly,
nobody
you're
more
going out and you're
grateful.
touring, and I know that. But you can't look at the audience like, how many different ways can I cut them up and make money? You know, I get presented with about 1,000 money. You can imagine the money-making scams I get asked to do.
I can imagine.
Over the years, one guy approached me and goes, listen, I got a magazine company. We'll just slap together a magazine, and we'll put it out with your name on it, and you'll have your own magazine. And, you know, I could have gone to the audience and said, okay, look, go buy my magazine. Everyone would be all excited about it. But it would have been shitty.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now, you know, I've had guys come to me.
Now, hold on for a second. If he thought it was a good idea, not even about, mostly about the money, if he thought it was a good idea, he would have done that. And if he had the work ethic, he would have done it. But it was going to be shitty. He didn't want to do the work. It had nothing to do with, oh, it's going to, you know, the audience will hate it. Well, they'd hate it because you would put a substandard job and you know you don't have the ethic to put a magazine together because you would have to greenlight every article. You'd have to read it up, and you'd have to hire people to edit it, publish it somehow. If it was self-published, because who the fuck's releasing Howard magazine?
Right. And what would it have in it anyway?
That you're not
I'm
going to
sure
get
it
from
was
FHM
ridiculous.
or Maxim
Right.
back in the day. It would be
And it would have
bullshit.
it would have been way trashy too. It
Yeah.
would not have even been on the level of Maxim or FHM. No way.
No way, absolutely, or Details or something like that.
Mhm.
And there was, I remember there was a glut of those types of magazines for men
Mhm.
because they realized, well, women have Cosmo, they have what is Chatelaine, Vogue, all these things, but how can we suck men in other than getting them to buy Kerrang and Rolling Stone and Men's Health and stuff like that. Meanwhile, there are loads of men's magazines out there still, and obviously hobby-based things. But him listing all these things is bullshit. Listen to this.
T-shirt guys, decal guys, guys who sell towels, fashion line, perfumes. You know why you respect me? Because I don't have a perfume. I don't have, and I see, how many people really bought an I Love Tradio T-shirt? 7?
Maybe.
Be honest.
Right.
Right. Is it worth just looking like a whore for 7 T-shirts? If you had some...
The minute you sell a ticket, like if you decide that this is a career I'm going to do, it doesn't make you a whore. It makes you a commodity.
Right. It kind of
Like-
goes along with it. Like it's just what you do. It's an extension of. It's why every movie has toys that go with it. Not every,
Uh,
but you know what I mean.
A lot
Like
of
they
the
have
big ones, Marvel.
Right. They've got toys. They'll work with, McDonald's to have it in the Happy Meal. There's a t-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
There's a video game. Like that's part of it. It's part of it.
Well, I mean, Burger King, yeah, like you're right. When Days of Thunder came out, or Maverick, Top Gun, like that there was some Minecraft, Top Gun, or the Lego. Lego's huge on this. They're starting to put. They've not starting for years now or decades. They've been able to put like the Washington Monument as a Lego set, or Statue of Liberty as a Lego set, and people really collect it. It's majorly expensive. They put it
Yep.
together and they film it, they take pictures of it, and they put it on YouTube and stuff. And they make making it, creating videos on TikTok, whatever, sped up and stuff. There's
I
a
love
market.
Lego, by the way. There is.
Me too. I used to
I
love
love it.
space Lego when I was a kid.
Oh yeah. So side note, I won't get off on a tangent. There's a TV show called Brickmasters,
Okay.
Lego Brickmasters. It's hosted by Will Arnett, who I love anyway.
Okay.
And it's like a reality competition show, and they come in and they make Lego statues and things. It's really
Okay.
good. It's funny
Okay.
too. It's cute. But anyway, so along those lines, I saw an ad for Adidas tennis shoes from with Minecraft on them when the movie came out. Like
Yeah,
and this has been going on for years. It's very
decades.
common. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in the 70s, and then to the point where it's not just a market for the band, but bootleggers, making pirate shirts outside of venues because they know people don't want to
Hmm.
spend $40 on a goddamn tour shirt. I went to see Slowdive on their last tour, and they were charging 50 US dollars for a
Mm.
t-shirt. And I thought the tickets weren't even like the tickets might have been 100, half of that for a fucking t-shirt. It wasn't worth it to me.
That's a
I
lot of
printed
money.
I made my own on T Public. I got
Right.
one of the bills, one of the concert promo flyers, put it up there, high res, had bought it and brought it back to myself. And someone said, "Where'd you get that from?" I go, "Well,
Myself.
myself, yeah, it was $14. Fuck it. Why am I gonna, and I still paid money for it, but and I don't have any. I love the band. I didn't want to fuck them out of money necessarily, but I certainly wasn't going to. That's where I think bands get a little too greedy. I
Hmm.
I know that's how they make their money these days because record sales don't cut it anymore, but
Yeah.
there should be a cutoff point where it comes to swag like that, t-shirts, because we know how much they cost to make. That's the
Right.
problem.
$2. Like it's way expensive.
Yes.
Way.
Yep.
Big business. All right, so you sold out a little
But
bit.
Howard, would you believe that people actually like enjoy buying something? Like, they actually like taking something away from the show where me and Richard autograph it and they like
No,
when I go to a rock concert.
it cheapens you.
Okay, and I remember the same rap you
You're
gave
not just
Jackie, and
selling a
I always
t-shirt.
agreed with you on
You
that.
did,
with the
so-
button mugs and the
How do you think I felt when Jackie would go to a show?
You hated it.
No, I mean Jackie would go to a show, and Jackie has a right to license his name, I guess.
I love how the guy that is coercing his two male staffers to have cockfights and paint each other's faces with their dicks and show guess what's in Sal's pouch, and but selling T-shirts is what's going to cheapen them.
Because it's not putting smegma or whatever it's called on somebody's upper lip. That's not degrading. But selling a t-shirt and a photo, that is.
And years later, so we covered it in a breakdown. I don't remember which one. And fans, guys, if you remember the breakdown specifically, please let us know because I mean I'll have the clip somewhere. I know I still keep all the clips that Raven sends me. God bless you, Raven. Shout out. And he talked about how he wanted to put out more, and then or Don wanted him to. I can't remember which was it. Don, he for the longest time it was him. He wanted to put out more, and Don put the poo poo on it. He said no, like you don't want to put out buttons. You don't want to put out bumper stickers because it's trashy. It looks trashy. It's not high end. Don wanted big ticket items for Howard. So the movie, the pay-per-view, the Howard Stern, like if there was going to be a film festival, which there was for one stupid year, and that was it. But he didn't want it to be like Whip It Out Wednesday stickers, the O&A thing, or like buttons. And meanwhile, like I said, what you're fart man. What kind of nobility are you upholding here when you don't sell these things?
Yeah, that's not a luxury brand, I don't think.
No, it's not
Bartman.
Gucci for fuck's sake. And meanwhile, I was trying to think. I was thinking of some things that would swag that corresponded with, as you just said, luxury items. So I thought Samsung, when they made the Note, because I have a Note 10 Plus, they had a Star Wars edition that was for more money, and especially designed, whatever. I've not seen. It's like a fan edition. I think iPhone probably does the same thing. Certain editions that are customized, or they're customized for certain celebs, like bling phones for people. Paris Hilton used to
Oh,
rock those
yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
So, can you think of something that would be of that nature? That was like some artist that you like that has their own line of something that would be it's not a concert swag, but it's something that they sponsor that's name brand that you wanted or had at one point.
That I had? I
Yeah.
had a no, I can't think of anything because I'm not I
Like a
probably
D.
wouldn't buy that kind of thing, but what I
Right.
would buy though,
Mm-hmm.
for instance, this I just thought of this is I had a watch, I think it was a Timex watch that was a Hello Kitty edition, but it was really nice. Like it had a diamond on it. Like it
Mm-hmm.
was a nice one. It wasn't like a cheapie, but it was Hello Kitty.
Yeah.
So that's really probably the only closest thing I could think of that I had that
Okay.
was like that. Um, but didn't, no, I didn't have this obviously, but didn't like Snoop Dogg have a car, the
Uh,
Snoop DeVille? Am I making that up? I feel
okay. I'm
like
gonna
he
look.
worked with Cadillac and had a limited edition car. I could be
Hold on.
making that up.
Hold on. Snoop Dogg
Wasn't it like a
car.
Snoop DeVille? Am I making that up?
Hold on. Custom car collection. Uh, maybe it's a car that he just souped up. Car
Maybe.
collection. Snoop. What did you say? Snoop
A
DeVille?
Snoop DeVille, like a Coupe DeVille, but it was a Snoop
Yeah.
DeVille. That's something. That has to be something. I don't think my brain would have made that up.
Oh, okay. No, it's a custom Cadillac. And so it says here, okay, it's often his Cadillac DeVille, often called the Snoop DeVille, is a well-known lowrider that has appeared in music videos and was featured in the Up in Smoke tour. The car, a 1966 or 67 model, was customized with features like a hydraulic system, a custom paint job, and Snoop double painted on the back. It was also used in the Pimp Remix video with 50 Cent. The car has had a varied history, including a period where it was found abandoned in a field and is now owned by a Texas Cadillac dealership. That's interesting that it was just discarded.
That
Like,
is weird. And nobody
wouldn't you?
kept that?
Well, yeah, wouldn't you like if you were, the Batmobile from the original Batman show was
It feels
kept,
like it feels like a big deal that you would keep,
I
right?
think so, especially now, granted, these things have a shelf life and maybe the maintenance and the cost of the upkeep is not
Yeah.
worth it.
Hmm.
But think of also, there's got to be someone out there that wants so and so's car, like a Hendrix
Yeah, of
guitar. People
course.
want, certain things have a value. I love Tissot. I have like about 8 Tissot watches, and I probably should stop. But the problem is I keep finding designs that I really like, and I go for it. But they have Danica Patrick had one, Tony Parker, loads of people. Yao Ming back in the day used to advertise these watches. Sports, Damian Lillard, who plays for Milwaukee, the Bucks, he has a special watch. He has a designed watch for Tissot. Meanwhile, he makes the kind of money he'd never actually wear the watch he's sponsoring because it cost about, I don't know, 700-800. It's not cheap, but it's not super
Hmm.
luxury either.
Yeah.
But he'd be wearing a Rolex. That's the irony there. Um, but sometimes these things are there. There's a value beyond it's the name brand. It's you actually like it, as you said, the Hello Kitty thing.
Yeah.
If you didn't like it, would you have bought it? I doubt it.
No, of course not. I liked it because I bought it. Like, and it was a special, like, there's nothing to me that's special about a Timex watch, but because it was Hello Kitty and because it was nice,
Mm.
like it wasn't just a cheapie, it was kind of cool. And I thought it was fun and it was nice and it looked pretty. Like it had a silver background with little pink around it. Like it was really pretty.
And it told the time.
It did. So see,
Yeah.
it's functional as well.
It wasn't always Hello Kitty o'clock, was it?
The reason his name was popular is because of this show. He couldn't come to grips with that. Nobody was looking for Jackie anything.
Right.
Nobody cares about Jackie.
Right.
And Jackie would show up and he'd have this audience that was, rabid to see him because he's a live performer. He's someone from the show. You get a chance to shake hands and say hi. And Jackie's a very likable guy. And then he'd do his show. Then he'd lower himself by getting on the stage and putting a tray out and saying, "Who wants to buy coffee cups with Jackie?"
It was like he opened a store right after the show.
Yeah,
It's like a garage sale in a comedy club.
like a schmata salesman.
Now, okay, this is very telling, but it shows a couple things here. There's a couple things here at play. When Jackie would do this, I agree with Howard in the sense of if people think you're making all kinds of money, it would be low class to have to hawk this stuff like Jackie needed it. Well, Jackie didn't need the money. He wanted to offer it there, but he wanted more money than he was getting from the show. He felt he deserved it, and this was his way of being able to make it. He said in front of a classroom, he said that the last year he was at the Stern Show, he made about 1.1 million a year. And I when was in contact with him, I said, was that including gigs and all that stuff? He said, yeah, because at the Stern Show he was only making like 500,000-600,000, so he doubled it on the road and doing these things. So if he doesn't do this extra stuff, he doesn't have the jetty. He doesn't have the other homes and stuff. I mean, it's just a reality of life. The reason why Howard thinks it's whatever is because he says it's cheesy is because he's a millionaire. He doesn't need this stuff. There's different perspective.
Exactly. And he's making $20 million. So he can be, quote, luxury brand if he wants with his stuff.
Yeah.
Except he isn't.
Oh.
But it's different for people that are kind of down in the real world a little bit in entertainment. Like they're hustling in a different way. Also, it goes together. Again, you go to a show, there's stuff there to buy. It's not unheard of.
Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to think of now just going down the road of buyer's remorse. I have a couple signed CDs. It's not remorse, but did I need them signed? Like, did I need three signed albums of the Manic Street Preachers? No, but there was the booklet version of the CD, and I got it. I think Great Radiohead did the same thing with one of their albums. Amnesiac, I think, there was a booklet version which I had for a long time. I gave it away, and they look like they're about, I don't know, yay big. They're about the size of your palm, like maybe a little longer, and instead of being CD size, they're slightly larger, so they look like little mini books, like I don't know, like Laura Ingalls Wilder or something, and they as a result they don't fit in your CD boxes and stuff like that, but they're meant to be special. I don't have a problem with that. Like, would they? The other thing is, would they make them available if people didn't buy them?
That's the thing. And when you were talking about what you bought there, it made me think about, this was years ago now, not last week. I used to be into these vampire books. Okay. Yeah. I
Okay.
was.
Twilight?
No, I didn't like those. These
Okay.
were called the Black Dagger Brotherhood. It's so embarrassing. But I was super into it. They were these big Jason Momoa vampires. Okay.
Of course.
Of
I
course.
had to know. I had to know his name was coming up. Hold on. What
so
is it called?
mysterious.
Black Dagger?
Black Dagger Brotherhood.
Okay. I got to look this up.
All right,
Brotherhood.
look it up.
All right. Hold on.
So
Overview. Okay, let's see here. This series, is an ongoing series of paranormal romance books by author J.R. Ward. The series focuses on a society of vampire warriors who live together and defend their race against de-souled humans called lessers. Can you explain that? Because somebody might find this very interesting. I don't have a problem with this, because this vampire fandom is its own genre.
it is 100%. It is. This one it was really good though. I haven't read it in years though.
Okay.
But yeah, it was like they were these ancient warrior vampires, and they were fighting against like these bad demons, essentially. It was the thing. But then within the world, they're always falling in love, and like they had these crazy names and stuff like that. And there's a bunch of sex in it. And it was real cool. So I suggest anyone who likes the vampire genre to give these a try. They really were good. And the author really was good at creating a world. She did a good job. Now,
it was female author.
Okay,
it makes perfect sense.
Yep.
Here's the title of the first 6 or 7 books, guys, in the series. Dark Lover, Lover Eternal, Lover Awakened, Lover Revealed, Lover Unbound. She went out on a limb here. Lover Enshrined. It really starting to sound a little stalky here. A Lover Duct Taped. No, Father Mine, Z Sadist, and Bella's Story. The Story of Sun, Lover Avenged, Lover Mine, Lover Unleashed, Lover Reborn. I think you're getting the point here, guys. But again, that's its own genre, and books fall into a different category because once you're in a genre and once you start on something, it's ending. If it is a series like the Poirot series or the Agatha Christie, like murder mysteries, especially, the people are like incredibly faithful to the series.
Yeah, and where I was going with it is that one of these books she released signed copies of the book.
Yeah.
And you would get it first if you ordered a signed copy. And of course, it was, I'm making this up because I don't remember. Just say it was $100 for the book versus, $25 when it came out or whatever. Well, I bought one because I was so into it.
Sure.
It was cool to me. I didn't feel like I was being taken advantage of. I wanted it because I was into it and it was cool.
Yes.
I don't have that book anymore.
Oh, did you
I
chuck it?
Yeah, I did. I just gave it away to probably Goodwill. So somebody out there has the signed copy. I just didn't care anymore. Like same with that Norman Reedus thing. I was really into The Walking Dead at the time, so it meant something to me at the time. I can't tell you where that thing is. I think it's in my storage shed.
Well, I can't imagine you'd throw it out, but it might. Yeah, you probably.
No,
just
I
have
didn't throw it out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a collector's value to some of these things too. Some people are merch hoarders and stuff. I certainly am a bit of a hoarder sometimes. Depends on the thing. But, like autographs, signed stuff can be worth a lot of money. Sometimes it isn't. Someone recently posted on Reddit, like, this person was at like a thrift store or whatever, and they had a collection of 8x10s signed by different people. One of them was 98 Degrees. One of them was Jackie Martin. It was in the Stern one. And so Jackie's autograph, which looked like it was legit, something like $8.99 they were going to charge for it. Which is fun. It's embarrassing, but because like I'm not Juan, but it's signed to Juan. And do I want it?
No.
Yeah. So, and I guess that's when it gets really bad and sad. But again, if you went to Jackie's show, he'd charge you $20 for it. That's no indication on the value of it necessarily. But if it's worth it to you, then it's worth it. Like even if it's only worth it to the buyer, then it has that value. What do they say? Something's only worth X amount because people are willing to pay X. Right.
And that's the truth.
Yeah. So Howard's assigning a value to something that he doesn't really understand.
No, and I also think he gets jealous with this stuff as well.
Yep.
So he doesn't want to see anybody else. No, I was rambling, but no.
No. So it's money he can't control.
And it's attention too that he can't control. He doesn't want Richard and Sal to get attention. He doesn't want anyone to want these things.
No, God, no.
Like a souvenir dude.
What bothered me, I said, the guy not only doesn't have any respect for the show, he has no respect for himself.
And the other thing is, you just made a perfect point. It just occurred to me. You're right. He all this time he wanted to sell swag, and Don said no.
Yep. I think that's what a lot of it's about too. He wanted to, and he didn't get to.
Right. And so those are marbles he's leaving on the table. Like he doesn't have Richard and Sal t-shirts to sell on the website. He doesn't have this. And he'll claim that's why he's claiming all this moral superiority and ethics. But it's really about, oh, God damn these fuckers. They're making I should have that $10 a t-shirt.
Yep. He wanted a little enterprise of Howard's stuff.
Better believe it.
Didn't
like
get
JD, a JD like signed Butterface, t-shirt or something. Fucking hell.
Thank God he got rid of it.
And some people walked away and go, wow, I got me a Jackie mug. Right. But you know what? I know they sobered up the next morning and looked at that fucking Jackie mug for $14.
And cursed Jackie.
Cursed me and everybody.
Everything.
But I used to love when somebody call in and want a prize and you'd give them a Jackie CD and they'd be all pissed off.
A Jackie CD because it was meant like, fuck you. You're not getting a good prize.
But Howard, we don't peddle anything. We have them there, and if people want to buy them, they buy them.
So you don't see a difference. You see a difference between you and Jackie.
Oh no, I do see that. I see.
So
exactly
why did you think Jackie was? Why did you agree with me about Jackie, but not about you?
Well, buttons and mugs and pencils.
How do you say that? How do you say that word again?
Buttons.
Buttons, mugs.
He's saying that fine. I mean, no, unless you're from Gloucestershire, you're not going buttons.
Or a button. I used a
Yeah.
button.
Yeah.
He said
Butter,
button.
better, batter.
Button.
Yeah.
What is he
Pencils.
saying? Why doesn't that sound right?
It's buttons.
There's T. You got to say a T.
Buttons?
Buttons. Button. Oh, I didn't know. Whatever. Nothing sounds good out of my mouth.
No, I never said that. That's the other thing. You're so downtrodden. Nothing sounds good out of my. I tell you when you're funny, but you can't
I know,
hold
but
on
I'm
to
not.
that.
I don't have. No, it's not against you, Howard. It's
You're
just
one of
me.
the funny, you're the funniest guy on the roast.
I heard.
Okay, so that's one edit, guys, just to make sure I made it fade out so you knew we weren't going down a vortex of, making fun of Sal, because he did. He went another 8 minutes about the wife and he should divorce her, and now they're going to go into the credit card debt. I left this in because I thought you might find this fascinating.
Hulk Hogan say that it helped him, so I figured I'd try.
I get all my literary tips from Hulk.
No, it's just that when you guys, when you're coming up with a plan, and I understand you're trying to do everything. You're doing the comedy shows. You're doing hallway shows. You're doing this show, that show, call and trade. I understand. It's it's pressure. But you don't need to feel desperate to grasp every penny from the audience. You can leave something on the table. And you know what? Your audience will appreciate it. Because it just makes you... I know some people do want a professional picture with you guys. There's 4 people who want that.
What an asshole. Like he has,
know.
like you're too good for you're too good for this. First of all, they're not too good for it. Second of all, the 4 people. What if there's 50? If there's 50 and that's an extra $1,000, they could both use it, knowing what you don't
Right.
pay them.
Exactly. And he is doing that thing, like he's jealous, so he has to degrade it.
Yes.
And like, ugh, God, ew, what's wrong with you? You're disgusting. But what are they doing that's so wrong? He's not making any good points.
No, he's not. And Sal, of course, the stockbroker, can't avoid putting his foot in his mouth saying, well, Jackie was wrong, but what we're doing is fine. There was
Yeah.
nothing wrong with what Jackie did. There's nothing wrong with what they're doing. They're on the same level. They are. But what occurred to me was, and I think I might have made mention of it when we were talking about it with Raven as well at the time in their respective breakdown, maybe part of it was also not just Don thinking it was too lowbrow, but also thinking, do you want the embarrassment of having to produce all these t-shirts that go unsold?
Yeah.
Like, you know, okay, guys, now available Howard Stern t-shirts. Now, if they're on your own website, you know how many are sold. It doesn't matter. You're not going to get embarrassed. But think of Kmart or back in the day, or, Walmart, or these places that would have, I don't know, Power Rangers stuff for sale, and it just lays there, because they overdid it.
Right.
They ordered too many things. Michael Jackson, when Bad was released, they were some retailer that sold the zipper outfit, that he wore in the video,
Yeah.
like a version of that. When he was, the Thriller, people sold the glove. I know, I had a dozen friends who bought one of those fucking gloves.
I had one.
Did you?
I did have one. I got it for Christmas one year.
It was a big ticket item.
It was a
like,
big deal. Like
Yeah.
everybody, my grandma got one. It was really kind of cute. She got one for me and my 2 cousins because we were all about the same age and we hung around each other. We all had our little Michael Jackson glove
Right.
with the sequins on it. Yeah.
and it would cost a lot of money, but the Beat It jacket, and the Thriller jacket was for sale. Like you could buy that at that time. People don't seem to recall, what it was like, but they were, his people wanted to make as much money as they could, and people wanted to buy it. And Michael Mania was insane in the
sure
early
was.
80s. I mean, it was
It sure
like,
was.
So anyway, I'm going down a path here, but bottom line is, I think he's Howard's very complex with this. It's not complex in that he's, these are simple emotions, jealousy and emotionalism, like just because he wants control. But I think that fear of, what if I put out a product that no one bought, like the movie?
Yeah, exactly.
Can I deal with that personally, emotionally? So
No, he wouldn't have been able to.
no, it would have
Because
been a
I
failure.
wonder,
Yeah.
back to your point of saying he made the Howard boombox, which I have to see this stupid thing.
I'll show you.
How
Hold
many
on.
of those sold?
Let
How
me
many
see
of
if I
those
can
did he sell? It couldn't have been a lot.
Howard Stern private parts boom box. I'll see if I can find
That's
it.
so funny to me.
There it is.
What in the world?
Okay. This is okay. Let me see if I can find it. Okay. So first of all, there's this. I don't know what the hell that is. There we go. Suntone. Suntone boombox. That's not even Sanyo. That's not even like fucking.
That's not even sound design, which is like the cheapy one that everybody had in the 90s. Like that's even less than that. Suntone?
And this is, it says it's a boombox. I don't see any controls for cassette. I don't see anywhere where a cassette is releasable. It's just a radio.
It's a radio and it's tacky and ugly. It's
Right.
cheap looking.
Yes. So his name, that was the company, maybe not him, but I have a hard time believing he would okay anything being sold with his name on it if he didn't have A, a piece of it, or, well, B, a piece of it. You know, just like
right. The end. Yeah.
Yeah, the end. Right.
So he made 27 cents on those boom boxes.
Well, something like that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of something that was, it just occurred to me. The Ghostbusters remake with Kate McKinnon and Melissa McCarthy, the 2016 movie, right? The retailers all took a bath on the toys because the movie was such a bomb, the toys didn't sell. And those are like somewhere in the Atari cartridge landfill site somewhere. I don't know where it was, in the Midwest. I have no idea. That's something that people, Reicher lost money on private parts. They lost money. Well, they probably made their money back eventually, but they lost it on a lot of films. And guaranteed, Howard would have made more swag if private parts had been successful.
Mm-hmm. I wonder how much they had planned that never saw the light of day because the movie didn't do well.
It's a good question, and I know there's people that have collectible stuff, promo cards mostly, like radio. What do you call it? Yeah, radio cards, like for DJs and stuff that were signed. That's a lot of the swag that they all had, but that was a radio station feature, not Howard specific. So, but that boombox, he had to have okayed that.
Of course he did. Of course, because look, he's a radio guy. He's on the radio. So it made perfect sense to do that, but it was so ugly. Like there was
Would you have that in your house?
No, I wouldn't have that in my house. It's tacky. Like
And
cheap, like
in
Winston
1997,
cigarette.
who has just a radio, like a transistor,
That's
instead
the other
of
thing.
the full stuff, yeah, like the full complement of, I don't know. It would have been slightly more valuable if there was a turntable attached to it, but
Probably would have.
Big time.
Oh my God.
Goes and makes an appearance and 4 people show up.
Right.
If you want to,
You want to be Eric the Midget?
would you rather say, we don't sell everything that isn't nailed down, so that we don't look like we're trying to grub off the audience, or you selectively sell a few things, maybe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You already sold a ticket. People saw you coming off the road. You did well.
Leave them wanting more.
We also, people will email me through my website and request headshots of us, and we send all those out for free.
Oh, you guys are really great. You guys are real princes.
Sirius even printed out 8x10s for us so
Wow.
we could send out to the fans.
Isn't that nice?
Took 2 years, but
Yeah,
we do
well,
it.
you know what? Guess what? I don't send out any 8x10.
Right.
8x10.
It finally happened.
We're not shocked. Jesus, you don't go that extra mile for people, asshole. Yeah.
How about you tell the audience, I don't even have an 8x10. Then they respect you more.
Well, they would believe it, first of all.
But we're sending those out for free. They just love it. It's a nice thing to do. I always said I'm probably the only pseudo celebrity sending out an autograph where I also fill out the address on the envelope. So they have my
It's a
autograph
one-man
several
shop.
times. Yeah.
Well, that's charming.
Do you know, Howard, how I have 143?
That's a lot of work. I mean, if 100 people want your picture and it's free, and you're sending them, doesn't that cost?
Of course it would. You have to print the pictures and you have to mail them. There's shipping costs.
Well, he said, his child just said Sirius finally came through and printed up a bunch for them, but he has to pay for postage. I would imagine it's not prepaid.
Yeah.
Like Sirius isn't including postage because It's not the same everywhere, and I don't know. It's not the same everywhere in the States. Is it a
Mm-mm.
uniform cost for 8x10s?
No, I don't know. I haven't
I
I
I
haven't
I
printed
can't.
photos in so
I,
long. I don't know.
I mean, I can't imagine. It's. I mean, it's weight based. Maybe it is possible that way, but if you had to send a bunch of them, it would cost more anyway. But I don't know. This sounds it sounds retarded listening to Howard. A few things are okay. Well, which is it? Nothing or a few
Well,
things?
everything that they're saying they're doing, which I feel what they're doing is so basic. It's
Yes,
like just it's so basic.
it's
They're not
standard.
even doing buttons or keychains or any of the like even further out there kind of things. They're
Right.
just doing basic things. And did you never have like a glossy photo of a celebrity or anything?
I've got like a couple dozen. I've got a John Ritter
Right.
signed autograph. I got John Candy. I have John. The only thing I'm missing a few, but I've got loads of signed. Jonathan Winters. I have a signed 8x10. I love those things.
Look, when I don't know how old I was, but it was back when like Metal Edge magazine was out and it was like the metal big hair bands or whatever.
Hmm.
There was one thing in there you could send them like $5 and they would send you concert photos of
Hmm.
like just little glossy,
Like
probably a
four
four
by
by six
six.
or something.
Yeah.
Yep. 4 by 6 of concert photos. You better believe I got that because I wanted it. It was fun.
But were they of random gigs? Like, was it specified? Like what would they?
Um, it was just random gigs. I
Okay.
think probably what it was is somebody, I don't know if maybe it was because back then there were like photographers and stuff for these magazines. It was a completely different kind
Hmm.
of, setup or whatever. My guess, looking back on it, is probably one of the concert photographers took a bunch of pictures, and so
Yeah.
they took probably the worst ones that they weren't going to use
Yeah.
and printed them and sold them. Because I
Sure.
remember I got Poison
Yeah.
and I forget the other one. It was a lesser known. I'm making this up. Whoever that band was that sang Carrie, like somebody like that. You know
Oh,
what I mean? Who
Toto.
was that?
Was it
No,
no?
it was
No.
the
Uh,
final
oh,
countdown. Those
Europe.
people.
Europe.
Yeah, Europe, Europe. So
Okay.
probably
Sorry.
somebody like that. I can't remember who it
Uh,
was, but it was a
oh,
lesser known
I, I, I'm,
band.
I'm, making it. I got it wrong. Toto was Rosanna, I think.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
Africa.
Africa, yeah, big time. Did you?
Hmm.
Did I? I think I mentioned this to you on the show. Did you ever hear Weezer's cover of that?
I did. I liked it.
Did you like the Weezer cover
I
album?
did like it. Yeah, I did.
I
They
thought
did
it
a
was.
couple. Yep.
I thought it was fun, but I didn't understand the purpose. Like they didn't really change them that much. It really was just a
Mm-mm.
direct cover, and it was. I guess it was technically impressive. I don't know. They were earnest about it.
I don't know. Like, why does Weezer do anything? I don't
Yeah,
know. I don't know
yeah,
why they did it or why they chose, but I actually thought they did a really good job with Africa. There was a couple I didn't like as much, but I thought overall the album was pretty fun.
yeah.
I liked it.
It wasn't too bad. It was fun. I think
Mm-mm.
that's the key.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
and
think so too.
that's what those should be.
Richard said he got so tired of signing that he wanted to come up with three numbers as well. So what's your numbers?
423.
Yeah.
What is that?
Jack me off. It's just something.
All right, I got to get out of
It's
like Sal
something
and
easy
Richard
to
Lou.
sign.
Why don't you guys go back and read girl books?
All right.
See how you do. And really,
I'm okay, man. Thanks.
Are you?
Thanks. Yeah, I appreciate it. And you know what? I'll work it out. And
how much are the I Love Tradio T-shirts?
I don't know. I don't really. I don't know.
You
I
don't
think they're
know?
20
Don't
bucks.
you want to know?
We haven't made any money off of that.
Yeah, so why have it?
I don't,
If you haven't made any money off
And
it,
who designed it? I mean, does it look horrible? What is it?
yeah, it's dumb. It's like one of those shitty T-shirts we get in the mail all the time that people make on a
Right.
computer. I Love Tradio.
Ugh.
It's like the whole website is hawking this crap. I mean, you guys are worse than like Bill O'Reilly or Rush Limbaugh. I mean,
Well, okay, that I got to say that really does look about as basic as you can imagine. But that's, I love New York. I love blah blah. That's a template that exists in every fucking tourist
Yes.
shop in every city in the planet. I love Milan. I love Oshkosh. I don't know.
Right.
Isn't that
They were
standard
playing,
tourism 101?
yeah, that's what they were playing off of. They were playing
Yeah,
off the I Love New York t-shirt, which I forgot about that until I saw that.
yeah. That was
Um,
iconic. That one. That
it
that because
was.
yeah, and the fonts and everything. It was very much of its time. It probably still exists on some level around New York because it was such
Probably.
a staple. But I always, when I was a kid, I thought it spelled Tony.
Because of the way it looked.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But
I love Tony.
Yeah, well, right, exactly. So, but I mean, if it was a hand-drawn animation or like some kind of, or not animation, but hand-drawn art, that's important. Like Richard, if they were graphic designers and they put out T-shirts, people would eat that up. You know, Richard was a metal drummer for a lot of bands, Iced Earth, Death, I think Death. Charred Walls of the Damned, I think. And if he, designed something, or if he just signed a photo of him drumming, there's a value. People do want these things. I'm not, and we're kind of going over old ground, but at one point here, check this out.
And okay, look at all different designs. You can get. I love Tradio, different colors. They got a mannequin modeling it. I mean, it looks like they're in the shitty clothing business. I mean,
That's actually a person that died when they put it on.
why don't you just label it the shitty clothing store? If you really want to look like shit,
You want to look like crap?
let's see. What does it say? on
I'd
this?
buy from the shitty clothing
Rod
store.
Stiffington shirt. I mean, how many of those have you sold? Do you know? You know how many.
I've
Four?
autographed a couple of them. Yeah. Probably 2 or 3.
All right.
Well, again, if it's 2 or 3, then it's 2 or 3 bits of money that you wouldn't have otherwise seen if they didn't exist. That's the key.
Right. And it was also a time when the online thing was just starting and people were just starting to sell things online. So they were
Yeah.
just kind of rolling with the times a little bit with that too. And you can tell Sal, actually feel bad for Sal here in this one because he does look downtrodden. And it's no matter what these two do, Howard is gonna find a fucking problem with it. Like he
Right.
really treats them like shit.
Well, and okay, and so what I was going to lead up to, I'll see if we actually get around to playing it. But at one point, Sal will say, "I took a drastic financial hit to come work on this show." I don't know if it was forced on him by, consequence of being in a Wall Street and whatever, a stockbroker, and then failing miserably. He said he was in all kinds of debt at the time. All credit cards were maxed out, and home equity loans, all this kind of shit. He was in really, really rough shape, to the point where when he explained it, I thought people get suicidal when finances become overbearing. I know I had a coworker, he's retired now. His brother-in-law killed his sister. He was going to kill the kids, but they were at a university or college, and they were in their 20s, like early 20s. So the kids were not there. But had they been younger, he most likely it would have been a family annihilator situation. He lost the financing on a hotel he was building, and lost everything.
Wow.
And was going to go into major, bankruptcy, and he couldn't take it. And it happens all the time. Look at in the Depression, like in 1929, when the 30s happened, suicide rates went through the roof. So
My aunt used to work for a company years ago, and the owner, it was a lady of the company, the business started going under, and she committed suicide at the Atlanta airport. It was terrible. Terrible. Yeah.
Because it's the stress, like it's all stress related. There's nothing about it that's, and I think it is rational. I think this is one of those occasions where the person's decided, I can't take this. There is no pill helping me. I don't have it on me.
And they just get so hopeless.
Yes.
Just so hopeless, and their bodies and their brains just cannot take it. It's sad. It's really sad.
I guess my point is I wouldn't have been surprised at one point if Sal had killed himself or his wife because of the financial burden that they were under. Like really, really, I would have been worried for him as a fan if I'd heard this in real time. I didn't hear this until well later because I didn't, again, even though it was the Artie era, I didn't tune in for every single show.
Maybe not everything you have to be in business. It's like, you ever see this J-Lo?
Yeah.
You say, gee,
is there anything? She's got a clothing line, a perfume line, or this line,
Well,
or
the
that
one
line.
thing lucky about it is she doesn't have to make movies anymore, so there's no more crappy J-Lo movies out there.
Well, you know, the best example of that is Kiss. Like they sell
I mean,
everything.
and isn't it sort of like embarrassing?
Well, Sal buys a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, but that is embarrassing. I mean, I don't want to be buried in a fucking Kiss casket.
Right.
You know, that's...
And he's right. It is embarrassing, but is it? It's embarrassing. It would be embarrassing to you or I, but Gene has no shame. He will sell his mother's old clothes like a square inch at a time to people who will buy it if there's a buyer.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Well, no, but the other thing was, and it occurred to me, not the kind of swag that they're talking about. What we were talking about earlier, the failure. You know, like if Howard could deal with failure, how do you think J-Lo dealt with that? The greatest love story never told, for being such a bomb. How do you think How do you think a person like that reacts? Do you think they go like, do they just wipe it away from their mind, like it doesn't exist, like it never was made? I lost the money, but it's gone. Or do you think it hurts her?
I think she, in her mind, somebody like her justifies it that it was not her fault.
Right.
That it was the production team, or it was the
marketing.
Even the marketing. It was timing. It was her PR team, and it was the audience problem. They didn't get it, and just anything but her own fault.
So they fucked it, not me. That kind of thing.
Yes, that's what I think. I think she, that kind of person, doesn't take responsibility for it at all.
But do you think it's because psychologically she couldn't handle it?
Yeah, I think probably a narcissist probably can't handle that kind of rejection or failure. Yeah. So they look for it to be somebody else's fault always. Nothing's ever their fault.
Yes. As evidenced by Howard, we're talking about, I want to get this off the ground and this project, and we couldn't get the animation right and blah, blah, blah. So it wasn't, we weren't ready and we didn't have the money. It was, this technically couldn't be done and blah, blah, blah. And I mean, yes, there are examples in the show business of movies that couldn't be made because the tech wasn't there at the time, and then it's made later, or it's never made at all. Concerts where they want to do certain effects, but they can't because of the restrictions in the hall, that kind of thing, wherever they want to play the venues. But anyway,
that's a little bit over the top.
Well, so then you say to yourself, well, okay, granted, you're not Kiss, you're not as big as those guys. Those guys could afford not to sell all that shit.
Right.
They just look like they're money grubbers.
Right. We certainly don't want to be money grubbers. I mean, that's not our not our intent.
So elevate yourself a little bit. Start looking at yourself as a winner. Start saying to yourself, okay, right now I'm at the beginning of my comedy career, but I'm going to carry myself with some dignity. That's all. And all of a sudden people begin to start thinking you're stuck.
Sal's guess what's in my pouch. He's worried about his dignity.
Right. Right.
And he's working for Howard.
Well, that's what kind of is crazy too. Look, I never saw Richard and Sal's stand up or their shows or any of that. I don't know what it was like or what they talked about. But Howard is the one that is degrading them. They're not. Look, I wish I could say they're not out there on their shows degrading themselves. They might be. I don't know, because I never saw it. But Howard is the one degrading them. So by that line of thinking, then they should, push back against him and all the shit that he wants them to do for the show. Like, what's the difference? How does selling a T-shirt and looking at Richard's gaping butthole, like, how is that worse? How is it worse?
Well, this is it. Like, but and this is where the narcissism comes in. It's worse because it's done to ameliorate and help their lives and their lifestyle. Them look him for being forced to look up Richard's asshole or take his anal temperature on the air is for Howard. And this stuff isn't. And that's ultimately what it comes down to. We said it's control, but it's also like a pettiness, a jealousy. Like there's a whole range of emotions here. It's not just like I want to inflict financial pain on these people. It's I want them to suffer. I want them to suffer in other ways. I want to berate them on the air. I want to tell them they're idiots. I want to make sure that they know this. That I'm not in favor of this, but he also knows he can't control it. So if he can't control it, the least he can do is get them on the air and debase them for it.
Right. And then essentially that is going to control it because they're going to stop doing it because they know, oh, Big Baby's mad and
Yeah.
they feel bad. And so they can't ever get ahead anyway.
Right. And so on that level, would you blame Stuttering John for, chiseling whatever he could with that show, being how he was, a big part of the TV component and wasn't getting paid properly?
No, I really
Like,
don't. I don't.
not that
Any of them.
we think he's some great talent, but if you're
No.
on the TV show and Howard's making all this kind of money and he's a big part of it, he should have been compensated for more on the context of where he was.
He should have. He
Yeah.
should have, because I feel like there was a period of time where he was an integral part of the show. He added a lot to it.
Big
Say what
time.
we want about him, but it's the truth.
Yes.
And for
Although
him
so-
not to be compensated for it, like, okay.
It's ridiculous.
Star. You start to think like you're a star, and you become a star. I'm not saying you can't sell a couple of items if you got something really big going on, but is it worth it for the 7 shirts you're going to sell all year to have a whole website full of shit? You know
Well,
what I mean?
we're kind of just, so far we've been selling it just to pay for the website. So.
Well, there you go. So is it worth it?
That's why we haven't made any money.
Take
Just
down the
covering costs.
website. Be a little more mysterious.
I think
Well, we
gotta
have to have our comedy dates up there.
Yeah, I think we have to sell like 300 more shirts to break even. to tell you the
It's
truth.
the richardandsalshow.com, by
yeah,
the way.
so you're not even making any money with it. So you can't even say it's helping to pay for your.
Yeah, get a MySpace page
Yeah.
or something.
It's
I
Well,
have
you know
one of
what?
those too.
That's the other thing I didn't. They were too stupid to realize. You could have gotten a blogger page or something back in the day that would be free hosting, limited,
Yeah.
limited in bandwidth and limited what you could do, but at least you could get that stuff on there and just put in the code and like smaller low res photos and short video clips or whatever of their stand up would have been no problem, but they're paying for web hosting, and that back then was not cheap.
No, it couldn't have been. But I mean, they probably just didn't know any better either. And they probably were like, oh, it's a cool thing to have a website. It makes us official. And it like, and to them, it probably was worth evening out to have it.
Yes.
'Cause I don't know, maybe they felt like eventually it would turn into something too.
Well,
So I don't know.
Well, that's key. I mean, we had some people asking for QF stuff, like not a lot of people, but the people that were asking for QF swag. And when it was still on TeePublic, every now and then we'd still get some sales like here and there from Photoshops I did. And I was very proud of that. But I didn't want that to be front and center, but I wanted there to be an option for it if anybody wanted to buy that stuff. And anyway, at the end of the day, it's on a want basis, not a need basis. And then when it becomes both, then you can sell a lot of, stuff. Like, so collectors, when you talk about Hello Kitty, I think Hello Kitty is on everything. Like slippers, cups, mugs, buttons, straws,
I have a
cases,
pair
phone
of,
cases.
so another Hello Kitty thing I love to get is tennis shoes. I have Hello Kitty Pumas, Chuck Taylors, Adidas, Nikes. Like I've got probably 5 pair of Hello Kitty special edition shoes. I
Do you
don't wear them.
I was going to say, do you collect
wear,
them?
I do collect them. I do wear the Pumas though because they're cute. They're red. And I just like them. I think they're super cute. But the other ones I don't wear them. I just have them though.
Send me a picture of them, because the other thing is when they make these lines, it's very often that they are limited. They don't last forever, and there's a substantial value that they become.
Yeah.
It was like Beanie Babies used to be big. They probably still are. Cabbage Patch Kids used to go for hundreds, thousands of dollars, because they're really rare, even though they all look like the same fucking Amy Schumer template. But send me a picture. I'd be curious to see what they look like.
I will.
Because,
Yeah.
Yeah, well, rather than that, even just like write something great, or go home and think about your act and how to make it better.
Oh, we do that too. I mean, me and Sal each have about 30 minutes now.
We do, right now the shirts are paying off like the web designer who did a great job on it. And that costs a lot of money. That's where the shirt money's going.
Okay.
And that's
Thanks,
it.
guys. All right,
Thanks.
good luck.
But
How
we-
many
I
weekends
mean-
you guys doing? Like
We're booked all the way till
July, yeah.
Yeah, till the end of July.
every weekend?
Yeah.
Almost.
Till the
yeah.
end of July.
And we've been doing, we made the mistake of adding on Thursdays. So we just came off a 3-day weekend.
Are you making some money?
Yeah, we're making a couple
Yeah.
of bucks.
I would think so if you're working that many hours.
Well, that's the other thing. That's why I'm so stressed out. Whether I'm making more money or less money, I have no money in the fucking bank.
Why?
I don't know.
I know you're not doing horribly here.
No, I'm not doing horribly at all.
I mean, you're making some money
yes,
here.
Yes,
I can tell you why, because Sal's wife and my girlfriend were hanging out at one of our shows the other night, and Sal's wife goes to my girlfriend, so what has Richard bought you with all this extra comedy money he's making?
Oh, boy.
She spends every dime.
No, she doesn't.
Well, then where's the money?
Did you ever sit her down and say, listen?
Credit card debt and home equity loan debt.
Is it all from her spending?
No, I think it's a combination of both of our spending in the past. You know, when I first moved over here from Wall Street, I was in a little debt from Wall Street, and then I came here, and my salary dropped substantially, and then we started using credit cards. So the credit card debt went up tremendously. So it's credit cards, and then we took out a home equity loan to pay off the credit cards. Then we got issued new credit cards. We kept going into that.
But what are you buying? What is it you see?
Who the fuck knows?
What is she buying? Pocketbooks?
Okay. That I deliberately left that in because it gives you more an idea, like I said, more of an idea of where he was mentally, financially, and mentally with that context. And so they maxed out their credit, which can't be good. And now, I would say in a situation like that, you got to go to a credit union, use that money to pay off your credit cards, and try to get a lower interest rate from the credit union.
I know what he just, like, if you listen back to what he just said, they had all this credit card debt. He got a home equity line, paid off the credit card debt. So that means now he's got 2 mortgages.
Yes.
Then they ran up the credit cards again. So he's got twice credit card debt they're paying for, plus their mortgage. I mean, that's not good. That's not good. And if he took that big of a salary, it almost sounds like he took half. Like
less than half,
I don't know.
say.
Yeah, I don't know what stockbrokers would have made back then, but he could not have been making much on the Howard Stern show.
No, I like when John left and they did the Gets John's job. John said he was making $85,000 a year on the show at that point, and they hired Sal and Richard. They were not hiring Sal and Richard for 85 each. You know what I mean?
No.
So I think they bumped it up to 50 each, and that's what they made. And in New York City, no way.
Right. That's even back
poverty.
then for New York City. Yeah. And so if he took a pay cut from being a stockbroker, surely he was making $100K, don't you think?
Probably more. Like I probably say maybe $150K a year. Yeah, I'd say maybe more. But when he said so, I wonder if it was forced on him. This whole if he said we had debt from when he was a stockbroker. Obviously, the market turned to shit, and he had to. It was not a voluntary thing. Like I'm going to work for the Stern Show. Was I have to get a job, and this is coming up.
Oh, I took it that he had a little bit of credit card debt, but then he left being a stockbroker to take the Howard Stern Show.
No, I think maybe someone can beg to differ, but I get the sense that he was still hanging on to the stockbroker thing, and I believe also in those early stock days, when Stuttering John would talk about it, Sal was the guy giving him tips, and he was just one of these.
That would make sense.
Yeah, boiler room, like whatever these. What do you call these sketchy? These sketchy stockbroker rooms. So I think that he had no choice in the matter, and that their spending from when he was making that extra money, like that when he was making low six figures, didn't change, and that was the problem.
Yeah, she should have got a job. Like I'm sorry, but she should have gotten a job at that point. Like, how are they living like that?
Well, even with the 3 kids. And 3 young kids, like it just you know what it just brought to mind the Murdoch thing, like the fact that he was having to fleece clients constantly, but not getting ahead with all that money he was making, or we think he was making. He was probably spending way too much. Yeah,
of course he was. Of course he was spending way too much.
Yeah,
and then once you get negative that way, like he's stealing from the pot over there, and he's in debt now. You can't get out of it.
He was chasing a loss, It was him doubling down, hoping that, look, it's got to go black eventually, on the roulette wheel. But when you think like that, that's not when I had a friend that did that one night, and he was down $500 on betting on red, betting on red, betting on red, betting on red. He said, it's got to turn. It went green, black, 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 green, something like that. It was, and he was getting, I could see. He goes, I don't have 1,000 to cover this. If I lose this 500, I said, just go away, just get away. I pulled him away, and I had to grab him by the shoulders and say, like, look, stop. You don't know what you're doing now. And he thanked me later, but he regretted losing the 500. But said, that's not a strategy that works, dude.
Right. And so, God, and look how fast that went.
Yes. And in no time at all. And it wasn't even 10 minutes of spinning the fucking roulette wheel. I said, just, you're better off next time. I said, better off if you find a watch that you think you like, or some trainers or something like that, buy those. At least you'll be out 500, but you'll have something in your hands.
God.
Yeah. So I think Sal was in dire straits just because of that, and then just got worse when he got on the Stern show, thinking he was going to make more money than he actually was.
Yep.
That I respect. Listen, you got to sit her down and say, listen, honey, we're a team. And if you can't get this, you say, listen, the money that I'm making on the weekends, I got to put in the bank. So in case something goes wrong, we got a cushion.
That's what I've been saying that word for word.
We got to start investing it. You were in the market. Right. Invest in something. Buy something. Right. Pay off your house.
So you're saying
he can't invest in anything. Everything's going to pay off. Like he's chasing debt. It just you pay it's almost like a vig, by the the banks and stuff. You can't. They may as well be leg breakers, because that's the same level of stress.
He's treading water barely. I don't know that he's treading water at this point. He doesn't have anything to invest.
No.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, T-shirt sales. They're and
leave the man alone.
They're this close to saying, him and Richard are this close to saying, help a brother out. Just pay us more, and we don't have to fucking do this, just to keep us keep us afloat. Not even they're sinking. Howard, Sal's definitely sinking in this video.
Look at Sal. You can feel it in just his appearance and how he's talking, how he holds his body. I think Richard's situation is a little bit better because he doesn't have a wife and kids he's taking care of. It's just him.
And he's got his girlfriend, but they're not married yet. And at this point,
right.
Yeah.
And she probably has a job.
Right. Too. And they're maybe living in an apartment, not a house. In a massive house. Yeah.
Right. So Sal's feeling it right now.
Big time.
Then what happens?
She laughs.
No, she says, you don't understand. She goes, I am. She goes, I'm working towards that, but we're in a tremendous amount of debt.
But how could you buy pocketbooks?
I don't know. She hasn't purchased one recently, as far as I know.
Cut up those credit cards. Cut them up.
I might as well. They're all maxed out anyway.
And you're working every weekend and doing these live shows, and you're still maxed out.
Yeah.
Sal, when I get stressed out from working too much, I never work more than 2 or 3 weekends a month. You're every weekend till July, dude. That's
just about, yeah.
So this is April 1st. April, May, June, July. 4 months with no, your Sunday, maybe you'll get 12 hours off once you finally get home again. But then you're going to have to fucking spend it with your kids. And you're doing that you're doing that to lose money.
Or break even.
If you're lucky, losing. Well, I'm saying even whatever they make, it's going into a fucking till, this hole that doesn't get filled.
True.
And that's where desperation gets. You get. I'm feeling stressed listening to it.
Me too. I am getting stressed out because I'm feeling it. And when he said his credit cards are all maxed out anyway, I'm like, oh, it's making me sick because they're paying their minimum. There's a little bit of money left over on the credit card and they're spending it. So they're just constantly staying in this. Oh God, that's terrible.
Yeah. And what is I don't know offhand, but in the States, in bankruptcy, does it take 7 years before you're finally, after declaring bankruptcy before you can be declared, not bankrupt?
It's convoluted, but yeah, I think 7 years is the typical where it doesn't show up on your credit anymore.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's ways around that to get, like, if you needed to buy a new house after you filed, there's ways. I don't know the details, but
oh my God. Jesus Christ.
Just file bankruptcy and be done with it. Like, wouldn't you feel better?
I think most people would. I mean, at least you'd be going, oh God. Okay, now I can stop. You can stop knocking on my door. You can stop the credit card. What do they call those debt collectors? Can stop calling. Oh fuck! I'll never. You know, I felt the stress when I didn't even have debt. Some guy that had a similar surname but no, it wasn't that similar, but same first name in my hometown, had not absconded. He reneged on some bill, like some rental hall property, whatever. Like he owed $2,000, and it was sent to a collection agency. I wasn't home. My dad took the call. When I got home, he was furious with me, thinking I owed $2,000 to some fucking hall. And I go, what are you talking about? And he was just yelling at me and goes, what you lost it? And I go, oh, calm down. Like I was in my late teens at this point. And I calmed down and I said, you have the number? He goes, yeah, here. And I call him. I go, what's this about? And the collection agent tells me, like, yeah, aren't you so-and-so? And I go, no. Did you even look at the address and the surname of this fucking place? I was livid because, you know, this is something giving my dad a heart attack or something, you know, for this erroneous. I go, so who's this for? Who are you looking for? And he gave me the name. I started laughing. I go, this guy's in Greece. You're going to have to send some bilingual leg breakers to get him. And then I go, what's this about? And then suddenly he goes, well, I can't tell you that information. But you could when I owed it, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Asshole.
Oh my God.
I told my uncle who knew this guy, and this guy was like a complete swindler, and he started laughing. Like he just thought, I wonder how many other collection agencies he stiffed.
Yeah, really.
That's a lot of fucking work.
Here's your friend Ian. Ian, my point is that when you look at a career, I don't care what your career is. Right now, you're not on the top level of show business, but it doesn't matter. You conduct yourself like you're tops. You show up to your gigs on time, which you do. You create comedy. You go there, you give the people a good show. You leave like a star.
We go to the bar afterwards.
You don't afterwards go, hey, at the bar, go, you got to go on our website and get a Tradio t-shirt. I mean, really.
We would never say that.
Well, whatever you say, it's there. That's who you are.
I'm going to leave it right there because there's a bit more. There's like 10 minutes more, but we can't go through it. And honestly, like if the more I listen, because I edited this fucking video before I started playing it for us, and I start to feel like I want to strangle Howard, like desperately, worse than I already did about that home thing, which, you know, what do you call it? The landlord discussion.
Yeah, it is worse because he is so degrading and superior right now, and it is nasty.
Yeah. Do you have a dedication for this particular one out of curiosity, like a song that you wanted to, even, it doesn't have to be, you know, negative to direct it to the show. It could be something you want people to hear.
So I got obsessed with Lucas Nelson this week.
Yeah.
So good. So I want to play. Let me make sure I get the right name of the song, because there were a couple that I really, really liked, but I want to do, and he's way younger than I thought he was too. He's only like 36. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. Okay. So it's Lucas Nelson and the Promised of the Real, I guess is his band, but the song is called Find Yourself. It's really good. Really, really good.
That's the dedication, guys. We hope you've enjoyed this one, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care.
Bye.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing fine. They're doing great.
If you weren't a boxer, what would you be doing?
To lie to somebody.
Do you think there should be random drug testing for athletes?
Yeah, but most athletes are more clean anyway. They just go through a head thing. I mean, they just make everything clean, so yeah, they should.
Can't believe he went into boxing.